from Z Noodles, and we interviewed Pablo Korona.
For my first question is, what was your first car and when did you get it?
Oh man, that's a really great question. My first car was a Dodge Omni, but they don't even make that. They haven't made that for like 30 years. I got it when I was 17 because I had to get a certain grade point average before my parents would let me take driver's ed, and I didn't do so hot in school. But because I'm more of a hands-on person in terms of the way that school was for me. I was interested in video and painting and stuff like that, so I really didn't excel that much at my scholastics as much as I should. So I finally got to my grade point that my parents were happy with, and they let me take drive right, and at that point I got myself a car.
Hi, Mr. Pablo.
Hello.
My first question for you is, what is your favorite thing to do in Rockford?
What's my favorite thing to do in Rockford? Oh, I don't know. For me, it's seeing live music. I love when there's a really good band playing, and I can just get in the flow of it. That or going to an art show.
Yeah.
Either one of those two, top two things for sure. But like as far as like going to things, I really enjoy the bike path downtown, the City bike path. Just walking along and taking in.
It's really nice.
Would you rather lose your ability to see or your ability to hear?
Oh, I'd lose my ability to hear over it without question.
Why?
Well, I think that I think the visual world for me is something that I like. I mean, I've studied visual arts. I'm a cinematographer. I'm a video maker, so I process things as I see them, and oftentimes that's my job, is to assemble things. I'm an artist, so I create abstract art. So the visual realm is the realm that I live in, not so much the audio one. So that's why I can think that. But there's so much to be said about audio and hearing something and just absolutely being immersed in that flow and that feeling. So it's tough, but I would definitely say that I would go for lose my hearing over my vision.
That's pretty. That was a good answer.
What's up, Nolan?
Hi, Mr. Korona.
Hello.
So, who was the first person that you kind of like did your documentary with?
There's this kid. His name is Vince Shirelli. And actually, the first person I did, I take that back, got a tailor in town whose name is Tony Shirelli. I started doing a video on him. And as I was doing the video on him, I was talking to him about, what would be good for music in the background of his video, right? Mm-hmm. And as we were talking, he's like, yeah, my father played music. And there became this whole story that came and unfolded from that. But the first story that was done was a guy by the name of Tony Shirelli, and he has his tailor shop is called Vince the Tailor. So it's a longer story about a person that wasn't able to sign a really famous music artist, Michael Jackson. Didn't sign that person when they came to Rockford because he was part of this band called the Jackson 5. And so they came to Rockford to seek Tony's father, Vince the Tailor, to have him, they'd sign him to a record label, and that didn't happen. And so that was kind of a story that came from it, but it was on a tailor, someone that works with their hands. Like me, I like working with my hands. So that was my first story.
Did you have a good experience with that?
It's influenced me. That was 2011 that I filmed that. That's a long time ago. Wow. And that still fuels me to create because of that experience that I had, that I walked into a place and didn't know the story that was there, just discovered it as I started filming. And that taught me, always be curious, because you never know what you're going to find beyond what you initially thought.
Mm-hmm. What is one thing or item you fondly remember from your childhood?
A cardboard box As lame as that sounds, I got this large. My dad, when I was like 4 years old, my dad got me this big motorcycle type Power Wheel thing, and my dad was telling me that as he got it all set up, got everything charged up on this big Power Wheel, and then set it up right outside the box. And I ran down the stairs and was so excited to jump in that box and play in that box instead of the Power Wheel. Don't ask me why, but then I pretended it was certain things. So I like just the simple things. I'll never forget that story of what I was when I was a kid. Like, my dad was all set up, here's your toy, and I ran to that box.
Well, kids will be kids.
You got that right. Unpredictable.
What is your favorite greasy food?
My favorite what?
Greasy food.
Greasy food. Oh, there's this burger down at Octane. It's called the Budokan burger. I absolutely love it. That is my grease. I like a big burger.
What's on it?
It's got an egg on it. It's got some spices. So it's a spicy sandwich that's got a little egg on it on top. It's really nice.
That sounds delicious.
I just got a
Fruit
little
snacks.
bit.
Fruit snacks was my number 2. So that's
Really?
awesome.
I got
Oh,
fruit
yeah.
snacks because they're kind of like jelly, and I didn't put peanut butter on them because we only have chunky.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Chunky with jelly, that would
Chunky's
not go
not the way to go.
No.
You gotta go smooth.
Although I find it really amusing that you can buy. Do you guys like Reese's peanut butter cups?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have a
Yes.
bag.
I love that peanut butter. Reese's peanut butter is my favorite peanut butter.
They make jars of Reese's peanut butter now.
Do they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, I'm gonna have to pick some up. You know, out of all this, I don't even have my own peanut butter and jelly. I was doing a project and I was running late, so I don't even have my own peanut butter and jelly. I'm watching all you guys eat. I'm famished myself.
Why is it your
I still
favorite?
your favorite.
It just reminds me of childhood. That's it. Just it. And there was always, I actually preferred it like with the white bread, and so it's like the mushy white bread,
Mm-hmm.
straight up peanut butter and jelly. Grape jelly is my favorite jelly, but as for eating with peanut butter and jelly. But actually, really love lately. I've been liking apricot jelly, and actually, you know what? To change all that up, I forgot that I love Nutella as much as I do. Anybody else like Nutella?
Me.
Yes, I like Nutella.
Peter
Alright,
Pan is the way to go.
Oh man, we're gonna get into peanut butter fights here.
It's Peter Pan.
Yeah, all right. Jif is great too.
I didn't know that this was a thing, but during the weekend, my mom and I are going to make dandelion and violet butter honey stuff. I really
Yeah,
like. You can
that
get
isn't.
like dandelions from the ground, then you can just. I've never heard of it.
You can
but,
just ground them up and then throw them out.
yeah, I would not recommend eating dandelions. It stains your tongue.
Dandelions do?
Like
Yes.
you know how whenever sometimes you rub it on your hand and a yellow mark's there. It did that to my tongue.
Don't rub dandelions on your tongue.
Do you have a favorite book that became a movie?
Ooh, that's a great question. No, I don't, but I do have the other way around. I liked a great movie that I read the book for. It was The Shawshank Redemption. So that was it's Hope Springs. It's part of a 4 seasons book written by Stephen King, and so that is something that I loved reading that after I saw the movie. So it's the other way around, and so yeah, that's a backwards way of answering your question.
Cool. Okay.
Hi, Pablo. My name's Sam.
Hello. Hi, Salem.
My first question is, where do you see your career going during this time in quarantine?
I'm still trying to figure that out. The difficult thing with my career, so what I do for my job, I do this I most of the time do this project called Our City, Our Story, which is a documentary series, okay? And by filming people, I have to go into people's homes. I have to be around be part of their life for a couple days. So I can see who they are and be able to capture that and put that together in a video to put out there for people to see and be affected by these inspiring stories, okay? Well, can't go into people's homes anymore. So I'm just really trying to figure out what that future does look like. I don't have an answer for that. I'm still trying to figure it out. But I know that, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, my hobby of painting has been something that has been turning into kind of a part-time job. So it's kind of interesting that the opportunity presented itself to do some painting, and it's become fruitful. And all that while I have no idea what my future looks like. We'll see what happens. But I think it's a really uncertain time for a lot of people. And I know that people in my industry, the video industry, are waiting to see what happens, because when you do films or movies, or you're always around another person. When you're a camera, you're filming something, unless you're filming yourself. Vast majority of people are filming other things. And so it's a great question, because I would love to know the answer to that.
Do you miss it?
Do I miss filming? Yeah, I miss people. Like, this is talking to you guys is really fun. I miss being a part of another person's life and just soaking up their perspective, soaking up how they are and how they live and how they look at the world. And you know, it's really, we are all diverse individuals, and with the fact that we are all different really makes our community that much stronger. And when you're just isolated by yourself, or directly with the people that you love, you start to miss other people in those interactions. And just I absolutely do miss it, absolutely. And it's the whole process of going out and capturing and finding a story. And then once you find that story, you film it and capture it the way that you think you're going to, and then you get it back home. And I love editing. I love video editing. I absolutely love it. And if I can't film anything, I don't have anything to edit, and I can't make my movie. So that's what makes it that's what I miss. Absolutely. Absolutely miss it.
Yeah, I miss people too.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite hobby while in quarantine?
You know, that's an interesting question. We were actually, my girlfriend and I'm at my girlfriend's house. We're quarantined together here. And what we did when we started the great quarantine, I call it, we actually took the kitchen and put plastic all over the place on top of it so we could paint. And the cool thing is that I put that up on Facebook, that I was doing that with my girlfriend, that we were passing the time by painting, that the Register Star picked up the that and put us on the front cover of the paper, with us painting in her kitchen. It's really kind of fun. So that's really turned into the hobby of painting. Is actually, people have asked me to purchase some of my work. So it's nice that since the quarantine started, a dozen or so of my paintings are now on people's walls, helping change their scenery just a little bit.
Cool.
What is your favorite style of art?
Abstract expressionism.
Wow.
You know what that is?
I know what abstract is, but...
Abstract expressionism is like, you have a lot of really, like, if you type it into Google, and what you see up that come from the images, abstract expressionism are done with a lot of forceful energy. So it's not just simply just a little, marks or making some abstract shapes. It's actually expressing yourself by putting your hands on brushes and putting it on the canvas. I scrape on the canvas. I throw paint on the canvas. And so it's actually really visceral looking, hard edges, for me anyway, hard edges, and just there's a lot of momentum when you look at the pieces. So that is absolutely my favorite.
Do you love putting textures on the canvas?
I like revealing the texture of the canvas. So like, actually, you know what? Great question. I've been painting with my canvas directly stapled to the plywood wall that I've erected for my home studio. And as I've been scraping, it's been picking up the texture of the plywood behind it. So it actually looks like the plywood texture on it. So yes, in a roundabout way of answering your question, I just started doing that. It's been a lot of fun.
Okay, thank you.
So I started a segment called What Water quite a while ago, but What Water has kind of run its course. Get the pun there?
Got it. Well done.
And today I'm changing it to What Paper. So what kind of paper do you like to write things down on?
Oh, I don't ever write things down. Is that bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, because then it's not permanent and not real in this physical world. But the interesting thing, man, is that you bring up paper. I not only do abstract painting, but I also have made paper sculptures before. There's this guy in town, Roland Posca, who created these large paper sculptures. You guys should look him up. Roland Posca. He passed away a few years ago, but he makes these amazing, beautiful, beautiful sculptures out of paper. And he's the only person in the world that was doing this. And so I kind of studied under him for a little bit, I should say he let me in his studio and I messed around with some stuff, and he just kind of said, oh, that looks nice. Not really studied too much, but at least I was around that genius. Roland Posca made stuff out of paper. So what paper? That paper. Check it out.
It's kind of like mega origami.
No. So paper is made from pulp, right?
Yeah.
So he took that pulp and colored it into different colors and put it next to each other and just made these gigantic paper structures. It's really cool, and it's seriously awesome to check out. Roland Posca. Check it out.
Okay.
My last question for you is, do you have kids? And if not, do you want kids?
I do not have kids, and I do want kids.
How many?
Oh, I don't think I don't know. I would like to. It's a really good question, but I like teaching, and so that's something that as a parent, that'd be my role, is the constant everyday teacher.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's how many I don't know, but I would definitely like one.
Well, that's all my questions for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nothing like kids to put you on the spot, huh? It's so funny.
I know,
They're
right?
great.
Do you have any, about that, do you have any, tips for us going into the future with our podcast?
Yeah. My thing is just simply keep asking open-ended questions like that, and always ask why. That's the thing that I always ask people why they do something, because you can ask them a specific question, but when you have it, why do you do something? Why do you do that? Then it just really gets to what their personal feelings are, and that's what people want to hear: personal, emotional feelings and connection. So why is such an important question to ask. So if you're if that's something that you're not asking, because I don't know if you are or not, there's the only podcast that I've seen. Just make sure that that's always there, and just stay curious and let people talk. Just let people talk, because people want to talk.
Why do you do what you do?
Because it goes back to earlier, why I was asked, and do I miss doing work? And I do it because I like meeting people, and I like finding interesting stories, and stories that I feel should be told. And that's the greatest thrill that I have, is finding stories that should be told or should be heard, but should be heard by different people in our community so that we know each other in the community. Like what we're doing right now in this great quarantine is we're just isolated with ourselves, and that's causing a really hard time for us to remember that there's a whole entire world out there. And so it's separating us. And my job is to go out there and help us see who each other is. And I just get so much of a kick of introducing individuals that have really great stories that we all can learn from. And so that thrill of discovery and creation from that nothing that existed before are two things. So the creation and the curiosity are really what drive me, and that's why.
Thanks
for watching Z Noodles.
Subscribe.